So we're going to move on to our first 5 questions in our 50th Mario episode questionnaire. And question number 1 was, what's your favourite 2D Mario game, Greg?
And it was a pretty easy one for me, actually. It's the first Mario game I ever played, and I'm not sure actually what got us into it, because in the early 90s, like, obviously I was really young, I don't really remember anything about Mario or anything. But on the Super Nintendo, we only had a few games. It's that sort of time when you only had maybe like one game a year or something. And the only platformer I had at the time was Tom and Jerry, which I actually enjoyed quite a bit and would actually go back and play it now and again. And maybe my only other experience of platformers at the time was maybe playing Sonic at a friend's house, although my memories are very, very faint on that there. So I remember, we all know like Argos now, but there used to be a place called Index as well, which is like done by Littlewoods or whatever. And I remember me and my brother going in like every week to see if Super Mario World was there. And every week it was just like, nope, not in stock. And one week finally we went in and there it was, and we emptied out our wallets, all our pennies and pound coins and stuff. I got Super Mario World and went home, and yeah, it was so good. And to this day, it's easily my favourite 2D Mario game.
How about you, Nick?
Yeah, I'm probably going to say Super Mario World as well. I mean, it was the first one that I owned, not that I played. I think it would be close, because I do have fond memories of 2 and 3 on the NES, but the All-Stars version, not the original. But I think if I really had to choose one, I would probably pick Mario World. It's the only one I finished 100% more than once, and because it was the first sort of game that I had ever, I don't think anything can really beat it, because it was so special at the time.
I really thought hard about this. Super Mario World is obviously fantastic, and I have very fond memories of playing it and passing the controller around with my brothers once we fell in love with that kind of Nintendo on the SNES. But the original Super Mario Brothers is just, even though I don't have fond memories of playing it back then, now it's kind of built into this kind of classic game which kick-started everything. I just do like it. I'm looking at, like I said, looking at Game & Watch, and if I see, walking past the shop and see it there, I probably will pick it up just for having that game. But it is that pick up and play kind of factor of Super Mario Land. And I'm slightly being contrary as well, because everybody's chosen Super Mario World. But Super Mario Land for the Game Boy, the original one, has just got that length right. It's got an unusual kind of Mario style. And the way that you can actually get past bosses by jumping over them, just like the original Mario, but in a different manner if you've actually played it. There's like a little switch which opens a door at the back of each level. Sells it to me better. And there's shooting levels as well. Yeah? The end of 2-3 and 4-3 are both one in a submarine and one in an airplane. So that kind of throws variety into that kind of platforming there. Very unusual Mario game, and I do quite like it.
I absolutely love Mario Land as well, and like you say, it does feel different from Mario games, but it definitely has its place in the Mario universe, and it probably would be it may even be my second favourite 2D Mario when I think about it.
That soundtrack.
Soundtrack is great.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but I haven't really played it for a very long time. I've never played it since I was 8 or 9 years old, and I never finished it. It was too difficult for me. I couldn't finish it. So I probably should go back to it and try it, shouldn't I?
I just played it on the 3DS Virtual Console. It doesn't feel quite the same as maybe nostalgia. It doesn't feel quite the same as the original Game Boy. I'd love to get an original Game Boy again.
I was going to say, like, I've got it on the 3DS as well, but like I think you might be surprised by it's not as difficult as you maybe remember it being. Like you will fly through it. You're a lot more experienced now, so I think you'll go through it pretty quick.
Yeah, last time I played it a couple of weeks back, yes, you die in certain few spots, but once you get past that, I really 25 minutes, 30 minutes top throughout the entire game. Wow. Those shooting levels are easy as well. But a couple of our forum members, four forum members here, for every single question, we have them dipping into the answers as well. So, Greg, what's Jonas's favourite 2D Mario game?
Jonas's favourite was the original Super Mario Brothers, as I'm sure it probably is for quite a few people, and that's simply due to the status it has. He says it's a fascinating game to revisit from time to time, and he always appreciates how well it is built together, especially how accessible it is to new players.
Yeah, and Vital Plume, who is Dennis, Nick?
Super Mario World, good choice. It introduces Yoshi. Plays amazing, holds up to this day. I love the SNES sprites, and it was the first console Mario game we owned ourselves. So the same as me and Greg, basically.
Yeah,
and
the sprites are
the sprites are good. Yeah, I agree, and it does hold up completely. Like the physics of running and jumping are perfection.
And someone else has also gone with Super Mario World. It was Sam, SEG from the forums. Around 100 levels of pure brilliance, he says there. And Waka Jr., short and to the point, Super Mario Bros. 3. Yeah, not so much Super Mario Bros. 3 love there.
I would probably put that as my second favourite game overall. Maybe. I said earlier with 2 and 3. I really like the concept of 3. How it's like a stage show, like a theatre show.
Yeah.
And how everything sort of fits around that. I think the worlds are really nicely varied in 3 as well. It was the first time we really saw variation. You know, you've got the first world, then you got the desert, you got the tiny huge world as well, which became a bit of a staple there. Snow world, and I think it does everything. It sort of, I would say that's the foundation for future 2D and 3D Mario games is Mario Bros. 3 rather than 1 or 2.
Moving on to question 2, our least favourite 2D Mario game. So we've got a pattern here: most favourite, least favourite, and we can do 3D games after these two. Flying through mine, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Not because of its bland graphics, not because it was the first, it was not the first one, the 3DS one, but it was one of the early ones. But I have distinct memories of sitting in my mother-in-law's house with a group of 4 people and trying to play that together with 4 people. Absolute torture. It just didn't feel fun in any respect. And so I didn't even try to play through it in single player. Greg, what's yours?
Well, I will say actually, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, I actually think it might be my favourite of the new Super Mario Bros. Series, and I think I would say it's probably the hardest of them. But I didn't really experience it in 4-player, like I played it single player, so I didn't have the that same experience as you. My least favourite 2D Mario game is one that has only actually been cemented in the last few weeks because I replayed it. And I didn't like it, and that is Super Mario Bros. 2.
Oh, the original,
yeah,
not New Super Mario Bros. 2.
Not New Super Mario Bros. 2, although that's in terms of New Super Mario Bros. Game, that's probably the blandest, I would have thought. But yeah, the original Super Mario Bros. 2, not the Japanese one, but obviously the one we got over here, which was this reskin of Doki Doki Panic. It doesn't. Like, obviously, it was different from Mario games back then, but it entered just some things that we still get in Mario games, like Shy Guys and whatnot, but it just doesn't feel like a Mario game. I'm going back to it, like the level design and stuff, and just the way the whole thing works, is just, I didn't enjoy my time with it at all, and yeah, I was surprised by how little I enjoyed it, actually.
I'm scared to go back to it now, then.
I had the opposite feelings about Mario Bros. 2. I really enjoyed my new playthrough of it. For me, it's anything with new in the title.
I've never played number 2.
Except that one. I've never played that one. That's the 3DS one, right? So I played the DS one. Actually, my mum got the DS one for her DS, and I played through it from start to finish. Finished it. It was difficult at the end, but it was okay. The Wii one I also finished, not 100%. I didn't find all the coins, but I did get to the end of it. And then the Wii U one, I beat on the Wii U, and also didn't finish 100%. And they're fine Mario games. But that's the problem. They're just fine. There's nothing interesting, exciting, inspiring about them. It's just literally paint by numbers. Here's a Mario game. And yeah, they can be fun to play through, but there's nothing. They don't do anything that the original NES and SNES ones did, I think, to really sort of elevate the genre a little bit. It's just a bland art style. Like, you can use Mario, Luigi, Peach, or Toad, but it just, it doesn't feel like a decent Mario game. It is just standard. So that's it's not bad, but it's it's not as good as the others, in my opinion.
There's a lot of hate for the new games here, Greg, but Jonas picked something else. What did he pick?
He picked The Lost Levels, and to be honest, that's a game I can kind of agree with him about as well, because he says like it truly is the evil twin of Super Mario Brothers, as it might look the same, but it is the pinnacle of inaccessibility and bad design, with unreasonable levels, obtuse mechanics, and a frustratingly unforgiving difficulty right out of the gate. And that's exactly right. Like, I banged my head against the wall trying to finish that on the Wii Virtual Console. I eventually did it, and I felt like a hero, but my goodness, like, it's so hard.
I don't want to even try. Nick, what about Dennis?
I enjoyed The Lost Levels when I played through it about a month ago. Like, it is ridiculously hard, and rewinds definitely help, and save states, but I can appreciate it for what it is. I don't think it's horrific or terrible. It's just very difficult. But Dennis said it's got to be The Lost Levels or New Super Mario Brothers. We haven't played the second New Super Mario Brothers game on the 3DS, and that's supposed to be not great either. And he's not counting Super Mario Run, which I actually haven't played either, so I'm not counting that.
I enjoyed my time with it as a mobile game that you just tap the screen. It's not bad.
It's
fine,
fine.
It's just you can't knock it for just play through the free levels. SEG says, and this is where the new Super Mario Brothers 2 hate starts coming in, around 100 levels of pure blandness. And Waka Jr., exactly the same game. The emphasis on collecting coins meant a lot of the challenge was lacking. Not even the Tanuki suit could save it. So moving on to question 3, which I said, good, bad, good, bad. This is the favourite 3D Mario game, and Greg and I have the same game, Greg.
It is, and it's a game I have played a wee bit recently and need to go back and finish it again just to sort of see if I can cement it in as my favourite 3D Mario game, because like my memories of it are getting a wee bit faint in some areas. But yeah, Super Mario Galaxy 2 was just like, I remember just as soon as I finished it, like, well, to be honest, as soon as I finished Super Mario Galaxy, the first one, I came off it thinking, I think this might be my favourite game of all time. Not just Mario game, but like my favourite game ever. And I had exactly the same feeling when I finished Super Mario Galaxy 2. Just wonderful music, and I loved the levels and just everything about it. Just it was magical.
Does it still hold up? I'm worried that it doesn't, because obviously I've chosen the same game, but my time with it originally was just superlative. And it kind of exemplified Super Mario Galaxy was at the top, and then Super Mario Galaxy 2 came along and just blew it out of the water for me.
Yeah, well, from what I played, like, it took me a wee bit of time to sort of like become accustomed to the controls again, because like we always think of like Mario just controlling perfectly, but you don't really realise the wee incremental upgrades he has in movement over the years. Like when you play Odyssey now, it just feels like so good. So going back to anything before that, it takes a wee bit of time to just like, obviously, Nick mentioned a couple of weeks ago about Super Mario 64, and like he just doesn't control great then. But in our heads, like back at the time when it was like first foray into 3D, it was like, oh, this is amazing. This feels perfect. Like. So yeah, Galaxy took a wee minute of time to get used to again, but like once you get back into it, it's like it is really good.
Nick, I don't know if you're choosing 2 here or are you undecided.
I am going to choose 2, and I've now in the last sort of 3 years, I've played 5 of the 6 3D Mario games, so I feel like I've sort of consolidated my opinion a little bit. I enjoyed Mario 64, but it is a lot worse than I remember. But it's still decent. I can still see that even 20 years later, it's still a solid game. I enjoyed Sunshine way more than I thought I would, and that's gone much closer to the top. It does get a lot of hate, Sunshine, but I really like it, and the movement coming off 64 is phenomenal. Galaxy I started about a week ago, and to be honest, I found it a little bit too easy and a little bit bland. I don't know if that's because I've played through 64 and Sunshine and they're so open, and then like Galaxy completely sort of changes the style a bit, doesn't it? It goes for sort of more linear levels, but I would definitely say 2 is better than 1, Galaxy. But it's been a long time since I played it, and I didn't actually finish Galaxy 2. So I can't really say Galaxy 2. But having played Odyssey recently, obviously like everybody, and 3D World just before the Switch came out, I enjoyed both of them a lot more than I've enjoyed the games in 3D All-Stars. And I think Odyssey is like the pinnacle of what 64 and Sunshine were going for. And I think it basically takes that to the next level. But 3D World, I think it stands on its own a little bit because, yes, it's a 3D game, but it's not actually a 3D game. So I consider them to be different. They're both technically 3D games, but I think I enjoyed them both a similar amount, and I probably wouldn't be able to choose just one between them. I will say, though, that I enjoyed 3D World a hell of a lot more than 3D Land, which I thought was a bit bland as well, to be honest. Still good, but
shocking.
Good, but just a little bit bland. Yeah. Sorry, I know you boys both like it, but for me, it didn't do anything really.
I had to go through it twice as Luigi as well.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Jonas had a different outlook on what his best 3D Mario game was.
He's going for the one that we've just beat down on a wee bit. Super Mario 64. He says there's a lot to say about this game, but it boils down to pure freedom and exploration on a level that the player always feels like their whims are rewarded with gleeful discovery.
Gleeful discovery, Nick.
He's not wrong. I think he's right, but I would urge Jonas, get 3D Mario All-Stars and just give it a go one more time and see if the memories match reality.
TikTok clock.
Yeah.
What about Dennis?
Dennis chose Galaxy 1 and said, while Galaxy 2 may have some great ideas and maybe even better levels, I was most impressed by the first one due to the introduction to the planet system and for having a proper hub on Rosalina's ship. I agree.
Yeah, I could.
True.
Yeah, I could take or leave the hub though. You know, all the level design of the second one made up for it for me. Sorry.
I was just going to say, like, the hub level, the hub part of Super Mario Galaxy, like, it didn't really have a patch on, like, the castle of Super Mario 64.
Yeah. It's true. Super Mario 64 for Sam as well. He says it's a game which you can just play at any time and know it's going to be enjoyable, even if you only play the opening stage. And Mike Waka Jr. says Super Mario Galaxy 2, agreeing with me and Greg here. The first Mario Galaxy was amazing, and the follow-up almost made the original feel like a mere tutorial in comparison. I agree with you there, Mike. It's just a little warm-up to what they could do in the second one. So moving on to our least favourite 3D Mario game, I'm going to fly through mine. And I how can I be least, yes, there's only so many 3D Mario games, so one of them's got to be at the bottom. And even though it's at the bottom, it's not, it's still a phenomenally good game. Super Mario Sunshine for me. But I haven't been back to it. I would love to go back to it. If there's a reason for picking up the Super Mario 3D All-Stars, it is just to play Super Mario Sunshine one more time, hoping they release it individually after this March the 31st. We'll see. Greg, what's yours?
Well, I have been back to it only a couple of years ago. Mine is also Super Mario Sunshine, and Nick was like praising the controls of it, like having come off Super Mario 64, said like it felt great. Like when I played it, I was obviously coming off Odyssey or something, and like when you go into those like wee sort of like playground sections like where they strip FLUDD away, and I just felt Mario didn't control very well at all there, and like you missed the long jump and stuff, so it didn't feel quite right. And when I was playing Sunshine, like I kind of forgot that you had to get specific shines before you could like go to the final area. So I was sort of like getting towards like the target. I think it's 60 or something you need, maybe 50 or 60 you need to go to the final area, and then realizing that you need to, I think it is beating Shadow Mario or something in every level. Yeah. So so you have to go through a few different stages to get that, and like some of the missions that, from what I recall, were like really frustrating. So yeah, I think I'm interested to play it again on the Switch actually, to see if like somehow it like transforms my thoughts on it. But like I was disappointed. But even if it is my least favorite Mario game, like it's still better than most 3D platformers that come out and everything else.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I completely agree. Nick, what's yours?
Well, as I've played both of them recently, for me, Sunshine was like I was going into it expecting to be sort of mildly disappointed, because my memories of it were so good, and so the fact that it exceeded my expectations has actually surprised me quite a lot. The movement, like Greg mentioned, the long jump. If you do like a side flip, but instead of pressing A, you press B and A together, it kind of is like a long jump. You get a lot of air and a lot of distance, and it's like what's it called? Like a not a jump, but a
slide.
It's like
it's like a dive.
Yeah,
rather.
A dive. That's it. Sorry, yeah. And I found that using that technique on the floodless levels really, really effective. And because you land and you don't really move after you land, you have quite a lot of control when he's sliding on the floor. So give it a go. I don't know. I found the flood levels probably the low point, I would say, actually, to be honest. Yes, the controls in Odyssey are much, much better, but it's not terrible. There are a couple of those levels which are really terrible, those flood levels, which one where you're getting thrown by the Piantas is just horrific. But for me, it's Mario 64. And again, it's not the worst Mario 3D game. It's just the least favorite. I enjoyed that more than I expected as well, as I said on the podcast a few weeks ago. It is just the controls and the camera for me that kind of take the shine off it, because yes, the game is fantastic. Yes, the level design is fantastic. It's a lot more difficult than Sunshine in terms of what you have to do to get a star or a shine. I found Sunshine maybe a little bit too easy overall. 64 definitely has a little bit more variety there in what you need to do. Sunshine likes to repeat a lot of stuff, which towards the end of the game can be a little bit irritating. But I think that was due to the lack of time they had to develop it. Whereas 64, fantastic game. I just wish it was possible to have a little bit more freedom over the camera, and that the movement that Mario has with the control stick was a little bit more accurate. And because of that, I found the end of it a pain rather than a joy to play. But it's close with 3D Land, probably. I've not played that for a while, so I'd have to go back to it and check.
Greg, Jonas has chosen 3D Land.
He has. I think he's made a mistake there. He says it's a basic, forgettable game. Nothing wrong with it, but nothing memorable either. Just meh.
Yeah, I think he's right.
Beautiful dioramas, these 3D drop in, drop out. Oh, absolutely spectacular on a 3DS screen.
Fantastic. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. What about Dennis, Nick?
Dennis said there are really no bad 3D Mario ones, I guess, which is I agree. Yeah. So I'm just going for my least favorite, which is Super Mario 64.
Similar sentiments, I think, there. Mm-hmm. A shocking one from Sam, though. He said Super Mario Galaxy. Conceptually, it's brilliant. Mario in space, it has some great moments. It's still a great game, but going back to it years later, I definitely don't have that nostalgia for it. But the new control options available in Super Mario 3D All-Stars definitely make it more playable. Expect a review soon. So plugging the N-E website there. Well done, Sam.
I disagree. I don't think the Pro Controller is better. Yeah. It's better with the Wii Remote and the Nunchuck, I think.
Because of the precise pointing mechanic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just as an aside, that pointing mechanic using the gyro, do you need to resync it all the time?
Constantly.
It's like Pikmin 3. Okay.
And good luck playing if you're lying down on the bed. You have to be sat with it like out in front of you, really, and to get it as accurate as possible. If you're lying down and the controller's sort of down by your side, no chance.
And Mike Wacker Jr. on the forums there says Super Mario 64 DS. Yes, you had to use a very weird touchscreen mechanic.
Was it the thumb pad or something? Was it
thumb pad? Yeah, you could. Yeah,
the thumb strap.
Thumb strap. That's the one. Yeah, you had to strap it to your thumb and use that. I can't remember if you were forced to use that or could you use the D-pad.
You could use the stylus or you could use the.
Yeah,
it was horrendous.
But if you used the stylus in your right hand, then you had to use the jump buttons on your left thumb, that was weird. So I remember playing it through with the thumb strap on. I didn't find it too bad. I collected all the stars in that, and all the extras and all that. So let's see what Mike has to say about it. He says, nice that they've added more to the game with extra stars for specific characters, but they weren't all memorable for me, though. I tried all the various control options, but the game needed the analog controls via an analog stick, though, and the DS just couldn't provide that. Yes, it was a problem.
I actually think I may have forgot about Super Mario 64 DS. I never really played it that much. I don't actually own it myself. I've thought about picking it up again, but Yeah, now that I think about it, that one could be my least favorite because I didn't really actually enjoy the introduction of the new characters and having to like go and get specific ones to do the specific tasks. Like, I think it just maybe complicated Mario a wee bit too much.
Donkey Kong 64, innit? With the different colour bananas. Moving on to question 5, and it's your favourite. This will finish off this kind of first section of our 50th podcast. Your favourite Mario spin-off title. I ummed and ahed over this for a while, and yes, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is fantastic, but I thought I'd go with something slightly more quirky and something slightly more different to highlight a game that maybe others haven't played. And I do like golf games. In particular, I do like Mario golf games. And in my eyes, there's none better than the 3DS one, Mario Golf World Tour. Downloaded the extra DLC content for that as well, and because I wasn't getting enough of it, put so much time into it, and even played a couple of you boys online as well. Mm-hmm. Great title. Great, what's yours?
I love getting those like N64 courses and all into World Tour as well. Like I said, it's a really good golf game. I went for like probably the obvious choice really, which is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like it's in terms of Mario Kart, it's just absolutely like the pinnacle of that genre, and like it's hard to follow. Like the controls feel amazing. Like there's loads of levels. Like obviously when they got the DLC tracks and like the original Wii U version of it, like it's just like it was also amazing. Like, and I can't really fault it. Like it's perfect, and I don't know what they do with the next one.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard act to follow. Nick, you've got a swerve incoming apparently. Swerve ball.
I don't know, I agree. I would say my favourite spin-offs are definitely Mario Kart and Mario Golf. Definitely. I love both of them. I was more 64 and Toadstool Tour. I have the 3DS game, but I never really got into it for some reason. I didn't even know you could get the N64 courses. So I might have to go back and have a look at that and try and download it. Because the DLC was like 15 quid, wasn't it, or something for that? 10, 15 quid?
Can't
wasn't that expensive.
Can't remember the price. It wasn't too expensive. I remember that, and it was a lot of extra content.
Mm-hmm. But for me, it's Luigi's Mansion. Is the best Mario spin-off title, the original. I have played it quite recently on Dolphin, because I don't have the original anymore. But it is such a good. I think, like, I remember when I got the GameCube, I didn't originally get Luigi's Mansion because I was so against it. I thought, why isn't there a Mario game? This is stupid. So I got Dave Mirra. I got what else did I get? Rogue Squadron, Dave Mirra, Wave Race, and something else I can't remember. A Monkey Ball, and I didn't get Luigi's Mansion. And I liked Dave Mirra, but I was like, oh, actually, I want to play Luigi's Mansion. I want to try it. So I traded in Dave Mirra, which I ended up buying again and got Luigi's Mansion. And after seeing all the effects, the lighting, the graphics were absolutely incredible at the time.
The transparency.
Yeah, it was
the first kind of game that ever did. That was amazing.
I think I beat it on the GameCube about 4 or 5 times in a row because I just enjoyed trying to get as much treasure as possible and trying to get the highest score at the end. So even though, yes, the game was only 6 hours long, which is the reason why I didn't buy it, because I read the reviews and all the reviews like, oh, it's too short. But there was so much replay value actually in the game with the scoring system. 2 I enjoyed, but definitely not as much as 1. I don't really like how they changed the structure of the game. And 3 I've not really put enough time into. I think the same as Greg, so maybe that's one to play over Halloween and come back and talk about it next week. But yeah, it would be easy for me to choose the same games as you. Maybe even we could say Smash Brothers, because technically it's a spin-off of Mario. But Luigi's Mansion, I'm going to choose that purely because I dismissed it and then it ended up being one of my favourite games on the GameCube. So I'll choose that.
Nice little story.
Mm-hmm.
Jonas has gone for a really weird one here.
And there's one I haven't played, but seems to be like well spoken about, and that's Donkey Kong 94.
Yeah.
It says it's one of the best puzzle games I've ever played, featuring what are effectively physics-based puzzles with flexible solutions, a mighty impressive difficulty curve, rich background variety, and a very memorable rivalry between Mario and DK.
Yes, a fantastic game. I'm just surprised that it's popped up on, best spin-off.
Stay tuned.
But what? Good. What about Dennis then, Nick?
Dennis said that the one that has the most steady track record is Super Mario Kart, but it has been so steady that I almost don't regard that as a spin-off. The ones that do stand out for me are Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, okay, and Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Yeah, Mario and Rabbids, it's really good at what it did. And Sam says Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door, another great little RPG there. Its level of brilliance within its series will never likely be matched. Nintendo are probably prepping the remake after finally realising this, and if not then, at least the GameCube original still exists. They're prepping the remake.
That's a great shout. Like, it's actually probably the first RPG actually properly played, because I always sort of dismissed like turn-based battles and stuff up until that point. But Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door was just amazing. Like, loved it.
I never actually played it. I played the original. The original is very high on my list. I love the N64 game, but I never played 1,000-Year Door, unfortunately.
I'm the opposite. Never played the original one. 1,000-Year Door, yes. Yeah, the RPG mechanics were nailed in it, which when I get around to talk about Paper Mario the Origami King, it's kind of the opposite. So another day, another show for that. On to Mike Suzuwaka Jr. He just simply says Mario Golf. Doesn't say which one. But on his interview, didn't he talk Mario Golf Game Boy Color version?
He did talk about the Game Boy Color version.
So it might very well be that. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.